Okay, so let us start by introducing ourselves. Hadi sir, can you please introduce yourself? Hadi sir, you're not audible. Hadi sir, you're not audible.
I'm audible. Hello.
Yeah, I
My
can hear you. Okay, Naman. Naman, please introduce yourself.
Sorry, your voice is cracking.
No, it's me. It's me. My voice is cracking.
Yeah, your voice is cracking.
Is it okay now?
Hello. Little bit, yeah.
Okay,
So,
Naman, please
hello
introduce yourself.
everyone. Hello everyone. My name is
Naman, I can't hear you. Hello, Naman. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, Auditro.
Okay. Okay, let's just get back to the topic. So, Naman, tell me, what do you think are the major reasons for failure in sale? Why do you think most people fail to sell? What are the reasons?
Well, the most major reasons are I don't think so. The first reason is obviously the product and service because you know if you are doing pitching, if you are doing digital marketing, your at the last your product and service is the one which will help you, to gain revenue or to go into a loss. So if the product and service which you are offering to the customer is quite good, obviously it won't be getting rejected from the customer or you won't be receiving any negative feedback from the customer. But what affects sales if you don't have a good viable product? So, and also if you don't have a good MVP, MVP is also known as the minimum viable product, right? Which is very much, important for the startups because if you are pitching in front of the investors also, it's a type of sales because you are demonstrating what product or service you are offering. So your MVP should be good also, and also your product should be good if you offer to your customers. Bad product or bad service or bad after sales also will affect your product or your service, right? So number one according to me is your product and service. Number two is obviously the thing, the experience of the customer with your company, right? uh, Selling a product and then doing nothing is not the experience you want to provide to a customer. It should be a fruitful journey with your customer so that the customer returns to you again and becomes a loyal customer overall. So obviously you have to think that how you are providing support to the customer, how it is good, right? So these are the two main things. I don't think so if the sales is not good, right? Especially if I consider, the consulting business or some businesses which required a large capital. So obviously in that time, pitching and presentation and what's your product and service does impact how you do business, how your sales are. Because if you don't do a good pitching, if you in front of your customers, or if you don't do a good, demonstration or presentation of what product you are selling to them, I think that will impact you, especially in the huge in the businesses which require huge capital.
Okay, so is pitching and sale both the same?
Yeah, obviously, pitching is one of the part of the sales,
No,
right?
pitching means giving a presentation, right? As far as I know.
Yeah, so you pitch to your customers, right? You ask for, because uh, the basics which we say in the startup world, pitching means, going in front of the investor, but it's not that pitching. Pitching obviously means presentation. So whether you're pitching your product or service to the customer, or you're raising money in front of investors, pitching will be different, but the meaning of pitching will not change. You're pitching to your customers. Even though if I say, if you are going for a consulting firm, suppose you are an employee of TCS, which is Tata Consultancy Services. TCS, what they do, how they earn, they take projects from their customers, right? Their customers are MSMEs, individuals who want service, right? It can be huge banks, corporations, or government. So if you are a technological company, and a company, suppose your customer is a company, you're targeting a company who needs technological support, or who needs some technological change in his organization, you have to pitch how you are going to do it, right? It involves factors such as how you will be cost effective to them, as compared to their competitors. So many factors depends, and you are pitching initially to your customers, right? So pitching is a part of sales.
So why do you think people don't like to be sold?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Hello.
Yeah, my question is, why do you think that? Why is it that people don't like to be sold? For example, if you identify a person who is, or if you can guess that a person is trying to sell you something, you would immediately say no, because you don't like to be being sold. So why do you think it is that people don't like to be sold?
So there are, according to me, there are some reasons why people are, don't like to be sold. I think number one is like, many salespersons or many people come to them. For example, loan companies. Loan companies is just a business, right? So what they do, banks, what they do, simple business. They take money from you, and they provide a return. Suppose you do a fixed deposit in a bank. So that fixed deposit doesn't mean it's secure in the bank. That bank reinvests and provides it to their customers, right? In the form of loans, in the form of many different bonds, etc., etc. So this is how banks earn a business, right? You provide FD for 8%. Now bank is giving a loan of your money to some other person at 10%, right? So the 8% you are getting, 2% the bank is keeping, and the 10% the customer is paying to the bank, right? So this is one of the business models of a simple bank. So the thing is, number one, the the people get lot of sales pitches, lot of sales calls, and they don't want to, or they are not interested in the product, right? Suppose a company, a loan or an insurance company called to you and said, sir, we are offering a 10 lakh rupees loan, do you want it? You immediately say no, because you don't require it. The first is, the key requirement of the customer should be a loan. It's not, they won't accept it, right? Or they are getting too many calls, they are annoyed by the salespersons. That can be a reason. The persistence can be a reason, right? So the second thing is, they can be annoying, they can get many calls from other companies or salespersons trying to force their customers to buy something. It's like Byju's. What Byju's does, they will call you 10, 20 times to, enroll your children into the classes. So people get annoyed and they say that I don't want to do. And one more thing is, trust factor is there. If you are a new company, it will be a lot harder, because if you are not a brand, so it will be a lot harder to achieve sales, right? Because you're just starting up and nobody knows you. You want to have a brand recognition. So obviously, many people will reject you in the beginning, but as you become good, as you offer a good product and service, as you develop your brand recognition, you will initially see your sales numbers going up. So trust factor can be there. if it's a new company, the trust factor is usually low. Or and if it's an old company, a big company, or a conglomerate, so obviously the trust factor is usually high. Okay, so these are the things which I think people don't like, to get sold to. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. So let me give you an example. For example, if you are trying to sell someone your product, but the thing is that he wants the product, but he doesn't have the money. So what would you do at that time? He wants to buy your product, but he doesn't have that required money. So how can you solve this issue?
So I didn't understand what you are
Yeah, the
saying.
question was that suppose imagine that you are trying to sell your product to a customer. And now the problem is that the customer wants to buy your product, but he doesn't have the money. So in that case, what would you do?
So this is my wrong target market which I am getting into. If my customer doesn't have the money required to buy my service, why would I pitch? First of all,
No, he wants to
why
buy the
would I
product.
pitch?
He thinks that that product would be helpful for him. He believes in your product.
Okay, so
Product is
you
needed,
are
but he
trying to
doesn't have the money.
so you are trying to say that a buyer wants to buy a product and service from a salesperson, but that buyer or that consumer is unable to afford that product or service from that company, right? This is what your question is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously uh, this is a very, I would say, weird question also. Suppose you are
Not
very much
such kind of
interested
buyers
to,
exist.
let me give you a practical example. Auditro, so I think you are in a, in an economic scale. We people present here, obviously most of the people be in a middle class bracket, right? We all are middle class. We all are falling into a middle class bracket, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Now let's give you a practical example of automobiles. I think obviously listening to the word automobile, I think the example did reflect into you, I hope. So now you want to buy a car. You have a budget of 5 to 6 lakh rupees. And in that bracket, the cars are usually Maruti Suzuki or Hyundai or, Tata Motors. So these are the price category which you fall into, right? But one day you saw Mercedes Benz showroom and you went inside it. You saw the features of Mercedes Benz S Class and you liked it very much. But the cost is 1.4 crore rupees, right? So, first of all, tell me as a buyer, you need that product, means you have that urge to buy that product, but you don't need it, right? So, this is the case which you are falling into, which you are saying that
No,
you
I have
need
the
to
need
buy.
to buy that product, but
Yeah,
I don't have the money.
yeah, yeah. So obviously you don't have, you're falling into a middle class bracket. Your budget is 5 to 6 lakhs, and now you are thinking of buying a Mercedes Benz S Class which costs 1.4 crore rupees. Have I said anything wrong? It's similar to your case,
Yeah.
right? So now let's think how you will buy this car. The available options are: take a loan, right? What are the available options here? Take a loan, either from a bank or from your family members, right? Or any other options seem
Or
viable
I
to you,
can
Aditya?
invest in asset to increase my income. Cash
But
flowing
it will
asset.
take 5 years. Yeah, so but it will take 5 years, right? If you invest 5 to 6 lakhs, if you increase your money at 10% per annum, let's take 10 lakh rupees, and you increase your money at 10% per annum, that means 1 lakh rupees per year. So to buy a 1.4 4 crore car, how many years you will require? Tell me.
It would take years. That's right.
How it will take 10 years? You are earning 1 lakh rupees per year with that 10 lakh rupees.
Yeah,
at a 10% per annum rate. So obviously it will take 90 years to buy a 1.4 crore car, and you don't have the time to buy. You will be dead by that time. Okay, so let's take it more, modified. Let's take it at 30 to 40% per annum. Not 30 to 40. The risk factor will be very high. Let's take it 30% per annum, right? So now you are earning 3 lakh rupees or 5. Let's take 3 lakh rupees per annum you are earning, right? So how much time or how much years you need to get it to 1.4 crore? It's simple. You need 30 years. So you are not 25. Now add 30 years. So you will be by the time 55. Then you can buy the car, right? But investing in assets is not a viable option, because that time Mercedes S-Class can cost around 5 to 10 crore rupees. Because if you say the price of the inflation, in 1960s, Mercedes cost around 45 lakh rupees. Now it's 1 crore rupees. After 30 years, it can be 2 crore, it can be 5 crore. It depends on the rate of inflation, right? So investing in asset is not a viable or a quick option to get the car, right? Now think of any other ways you have instead of paying loans or EMIs. Think of any other ways, Aditya.
Start a business, start my own business, become a millionaire.
Start a business. Yeah. No, start a business, it's like a long-term thinking. I am saying about the short-term approach. Let's see about the short-term approach. Any other thing you can get apart from a bank loan, you can get support. You don't have any option, right? So would you want to get that car?
No.
Think. No. So the answer is you can't. Even if you apply for EMI, there is a 90% chance it will not get sanctioned. Okay. So it is impossible to buy. It's thinking of you are earning, you have the money to buy a Titan, but you want to buy a Rolex, right? So obviously this is also one more example. You want to buy a watch, a Titan and a Rolex doesn't have any difference. They both tell time, but what is the difference? The price, the material, the luxury factor, the brand factor, and also the quality matters, right? But you are a buyer, you dream of, but you can't buy. So in my answer, you cannot buy a product. He doesn't have any option but to leave it, or to see any deals are there. You can also tap into a second hand inventory. If a Mercedes Benz costs 1.4 crore, now if he wants to buy, if he doesn't have that thing to buy in, like, he can buy a second hand or 2 or 3 year old car. So he can look into second hand options, right? So this is how, an example of what I just did is just like an example of how we do case studies. This is how we do. Like, we look into the options, we divert, and we look into the options, and this is how we develop. So this is how a case study happens.
Okay, so my next question to you is, suppose if you are selling your product to a person and that person wants to buy that product, but the thing is that he's not the decision maker. So in that case, what would you do? How would you make that?
You are saying, so can you say it again, what you just said?
Yeah. So my question was that, suppose if you are trying to sell your product to a person, The person wants to buy that product, but he is not the decision maker. He has the money, he wants to buy, but he is not the decision maker. So in that case, how would you solve this problem?
So he wants to buy a product, but he is not the decision maker, right?
Yeah.
So let's take another example. I will explain you. He's not a decision maker. So you live in a family, right? We all live in a family. We have our parents who are right now our decision makers, right? And they will be our decision makers in very vital, very uh, different cases when we will be struggling, or we will have some discussion about financially or about family. We have, right? And the main decision maker sometimes are our parents or the head of the family, right? So let's take into account a financial discussion about how it can be, right? So you, Aritra, you are a buyer, and your key decision maker is your parent, right? Now, what you think is you are earning a salary of 20 lakhs per annum. Okay. You are earning 20 lakhs per annum after tax, after spending it on rent. You have savings of 5 lakh, 4 lakh rupees. So what happens is you intend to buy a home of around, you went to your broker, your real estate broker. You went, you saw the house, and most of the houses in the region where you work cost more than 1 crore rupees. Okay. So now your family depends on you. You are the sole bread maker of your family. So nobody earns in your family. Your father is retired, your mother doesn't earn, your mother is a housewife. Let's take an example. This is not based on you. This is just like an example. Okay. So Ritra, please cooperate. So you are not a, you are the sole bread maker of your family. Now you take it to your parents that I want to buy a house which costs 1.4 crore, more than 1 crore rupees. But your mother and father is saying no. Right. So what would you do, Arit?
No, let's say that they are completely fine. As you said, they are not in a healthy state, but I would
let's say they are completely fine. Okay. You went ahead of the process to buy that home. You went ahead, you filled all the EMI, you filled, the down payment, and you got that home. But now suddenly what happens? A pandemic hits and you lost your job.
No, let's not take such in consideration. Pandemic, ill health, let's not take them in consideration.
It's like that. It's develops like that. It can be a possibility. It can be. We are seeing the pandemic, right? They are very much. You can see job layoffs, right? This is not fictional approach. This is the real world. Anywhere in the world, it will be happening that they can't pay their home EMIs, right? This is an thinking about the thinking process. So let me how you so you have to think in a long term approach, not short term. That is what the thing is here. So when you're buying a home, obviously you're thinking of paying an EMI of more than 10 years on minimum at a cap of 10 years. So you have to think that do I have the capacity to pay? If I am earning just 20 lakhs per annum, if I want to buy a 1+ crore home, right? So these all factors just come into the mind.
No, let's say that I have the capacity to pay. Let's say I have the
let's say you have the capacity to pay. Let's say you have the capacity to pay, and your parents are completely fine, and you paid the money, you got the bank. But what happened was, now in your bank account you paid 1 crore rupees. Now you are living in a bare minimum, right? And your project is complete. Mostly, your house project is aimed to be complete by the year 2024. and let's say 2022, the next year. Now what happened was it has been delayed by 2 years because of any external circumstances, and now you see that it is very much difficult to pay the EMI. So how would you manage that thing? Right? Right? It can happen. This is a possibility. Aritra, this is
Yeah.
a possibility. It can be delayed. The handover date can be delayed by a year or two, and we are seeing that. So it can be a possibility. How would you manage that time? So a sound decision you have to take when you're buying a product. A customer needs to make a sound decision when he wants to buy a product. If he doesn't have that capital, right? If he doesn't have that capital, he will have to think repeatedly about, do I want to buy this product? Is it useful to me? Is it not? If he can't afford it, right? So this is what I was trying to explain, that if a customer wants to buy a product but he doesn't have the capital, he has to think about the long term thing, the long term, approach he has to take. Otherwise, anything happens, it will affect to him. And initially, he won't buy the thing. Right? A good customer won't buy the thing. A lousy customer who doesn't care about financial planning can buy it. Right? Many people have seen, like, they purchased from the credit cards, big luxuries they want. Now they are in the trap of, they are in a debt trap. Now they can't be taken out from the credit card debt. So this is the mindset when you are a customer, when you don't have the capital. So the right mindset. The wrong mindset will be like, take this credit card and I will buy. Right? So this is the thing. And the second thing is, if he has the capital, he's a billionaire. Now 4 lakh rupees Rolex is nothing for him. He will obviously buy. So here, the company, what they do is, they target their customers whom they intend to make it. Rolex is not made for middle class people. Rolex is made for rich and high class people. Right? So this is the thing. You have to, this comes in marketing rather than sales. Who is a buyer, right? 4 P's: price, promotion, place, how you will adjust it.
Okay, so let's end the meeting today.
Yeah. So
time.
Yeah.
So Naman, thank you for coming.
Yeah, just switch off the recording. Yeah.
Good night.